Pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'm glad that we say the Pledge of Allegiance at the beginning of our meetings, you know that? I mean, with everything going on in the world,
Yes.
it's good. Dolly, can you do roll call?
Supervisor Flaherty.
Here.
Councilwoman Cataldi.
Present.
Councilman Cahill.
Present.
Councilman Abbott.
Here.
Councilman Dean.
Here.
Attorney Genesi.
Present.
I'd like to make a resolution to approve the minutes from last formal board meeting on August 6th.
I move that we approve the minutes of August 6, 2020 as submitted by the town clerk.
Supervisor Flaherty.
Aye.
Councilwoman Cataldi.
Aye.
Councilman Cahill.
Aye.
Councilman Abbott.
Aye.
Councilman Dean.
Aye.
John,
Yes,
was it you?
it was me.
I knew it.
So I did review the bills. I found everything in order, and I would move that we pay the bills as submitted by the Director of Finance.
Second.
Councilman Cahill.
Aye.
Councilman Dean.
Aye.
Councilman Abbott.
Aye.
Councilwoman Cataldi.
Aye.
Supervisor Flaherty.
Aye. And I also went over the prepaid warrants as submitted by the Director of Finance, and I move that we approve those.
Second.
Supervisor Flaherty.
Aye.
Councilwoman Cataldi.
Aye.
Councilman Cahill.
Aye.
Councilman Abbott.
Aye.
Councilman Dean.
Aye.
Well, actually, Paul, I guess we'll have you describe this. Chris Bilo's not here tonight, but this is more of a money thing than, so let it rip.
Yeah, we have a capital project underway to do some renovations over at the Recreation Center to the gymnasium. And we're going to use funds from the Parkland Trust Fund, $125,000. Up to that amount. We're thinking it may come in slightly under that. But we wanted to be sure that we were okay tapping into that trust fund. So I spoke to the New York State Office of State Controller, and they directed me to Town Law Section 277-4 and New York State OSC Opinion 2003-7, which specifically says that Parkland Trust monies, as a rule, may be expended only to acquire additional parkland or construct, rehabilitate, or expand existing park or recreational facilities to meet the needs generated by new subdivisions. So with that in mind, we think it's completely in line with the law.
Yeah.
I would agree.
So we just want to approve the transfer of the funds.
And I want to thank you, Paul, for doing the research on that. And Charlie, I think you also got involved a little bit on giving the blessing from a legal standpoint.
Right, Paul led it, I followed up, and yes, it's good. It's
Thanks.
permissive.
That's what you call, what, measure twice, cut once
Yep.
On this. So I make a resolution to transfer up to $125,000 from the Parkland Trust Fund in compliance with Town Law Section 277-4 and New York OSC Opinion 2003-7 to fund capital project H0227 to renovate the gymnasium within the town recreation center.
Second.
Supervisor Flaherty.
Aye.
Councilman Cahill.
Aye.
Councilwoman Cataldi.
Aye.
Councilman Abbott.
Aye.
Councilman Dean.
Aye.
Well, Bill, we were cruising along, and now we'll see how long we take on the next one, because Art Patron, I wonder if you will have to jump up to the microphone to explain the next resolution that is up for consideration.
Let's see, that strikes me.
The winner.
Thank you, Supervisor Flaherty.
Oh, and Art runs the sewer treatment plant. I should have said that. Deputy Department of Public Works Commissioner.
So we went out to bid for upgrades and repairs to both our Clem Road and Fawnwood pump stations. We opened the bids last week. for the 3 contracts, general construction, electrical, and mechanical. We had a total of 19 bids, which was really great to see. Our engineers at Bartlett and Judas reviewed the bids, made the recommendations as the low bidders in general construction. John Danforth Company at $511,000. Electrical construction, Billetier Electric, $69,400. And mechanical construction, Crosby Brownlee at $96,300. So we ask that the board approve those bids and award the bids.
Any questions or comments from the board? I know this has been floating around here in many meetings in the last 8 months, so.
What was the total in 169? That's 680,000?
I have no idea.
Yeah, that would be correct, Barry.
So that's very good.
Yeah, I think what we were looking at before, but it includes contingencies and all that, was up to around 50.
Right.
So
I should have had that.
the bids came in, obviously, we had.
Yeah, the bids came in actually fairly well within the engineer's estimate. There was a 5% escalation of $27,701. The bids came in $5,000 above that, but actually they came in on number because our work allowance is at $50,000. So we actually are right about at our number, our budget number for bids.
And the next item, if this gets a resolution approved tonight, the next step in this process within the next couple of weeks is a resolution to transfer the funds from our sewer reserve for this. Would that be correct, Charles?
The next,
Paul, or
It would be funded from the sewer capital reserve.
capital reserve, right?
So we would
Okay.
need to approve a transfer at some point
Okay.
up to 860,000, which is the
Right.
budget.
Okay.
Of course, we hope to come in under that, but
absolutely.
Okay.
We didn't get the summary packet. We got the bid, the summary of the bids, but we didn't get the breakdown from them. Mr. Patron. That's fine, I can figure it out, but that's why I was confused.
Oh, you mean the line items that made up Danforth Company's 511 and so on and so forth? Is that?
Yeah, I guess that's what that is.
It's a 3-page letter.
The summary that he sent that explained.
I didn't send this. The way once the engineers review it, they send it to the town. Had I known, I would have.
That's all right,
Yeah.
that's why I was confused.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because this bid summary has a lot of asterisks on it, and I wasn't sure what that meant.
3 lowest bidders.
Well, no.
No, I
The
got it.
construction, Danforth is the lowest, but there's also an asterisk by Blue Heron.
Right there, the 3 lowest bidders
Grants.
within each contract.
Okay, the 3 lowest, okay,
Right.
all right, okay.
Yeah, but I didn't know what that meant, so I was a little confused.
Okay.
I just heard what you awarded and added it up.
John, Patty, anything?
No.
No, I was just looking, because I know we did receive something in an email earlier, and I was just looking to see if it was there.
Well, and I hope this might be my faux pas on housekeeping, because Kim and I are trying to get the board out digital copies of all the supporting documentation like 3 days before the board meeting, so you get a chance at your leisure to read it. But then the documents in these folders the night of the meeting should be the same as the ones we sent you.
They are.
Did we send you?
No,
We did not.
no.
Okay.
I printed these out yesterday.
Okay.
So, actually, we received this in our email
Yeah, we received this. We received a copy of this.
No, there's the rest of it.
I didn't see the
I didn't see it.
summary breakdown.
It was sent originally by
Leeson?
Leeson?
Leeson.
Leeson?
Mhm.
Yes. So it was sent to us on August 14th.
I didn't see that one. But I got 30 of them, so.
You got 30 emails?
It feels like 60.
I want to switch sides with you, Bill. I want to only get 30 emails.
I don't see it in my emails from the 14th.
Did we approve it? Did they?
I may have been copied on it because I'm liaison to the sewer department. Anyway.
Yeah, I'm comfortable.
Any other questions?
No,
Karen?
I'm fine now. I just.
Good?
Yeah.
Okay. But this is good. I mean, these are things that I want to take notes on so that as we move forward, we don't miss that kind of stuff. So, with that being said, I'm going to make a resolution to award the bids for the Clem Road and Farmwood Pump Station and repairs and upgrades.
Second.
Supervisor Flaherty?
Aye.
Councilman Dean?
Aye.
Councilman Abbott?
Aye.
Councilman Cahill?
Aye.
Councilwoman Cataldi?
Aye. Do we want to include the companies and the amounts in the motion?
We could. I know that the final, what we'll write up in the minutes will be the winning bids that we discussed. And Charlie, I'll leave that up to you. Should I?
Might as well announce it now since we have, yeah, put it on the record. Understanding that, yeah, that obviously it can be adjusted.
It's normal procedure.
Okay, then I'll amend the motion to award the bids for the Clem Road and Farmwood Pump Station repairs and upgrades to Danforth Company for $511,000, Billetier Electric for $69,400, and Crosby Brownlee for $96,300. Now, for people watching at home or for posterity, if they watch a tape, there was a 90-minute Zoom public information meeting last night regarding the town and village sewer departments and potentially in the future regionalizing them. If you get a chance to watch that, it is saved on YouTube and on our website and everything, but there was a term thrown around a lot last night that I would imagine the layman would not understand. Art, you have the sewer plant. That's where we treat the sewage. But then we have the collection system. And would it be safe to say that the collection system is the aggregate of the sewer main pipes that run along the roads that the individual houses tie into? And then I think there's 22 pump stations in the town of Webster. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And pump stations, I've learned in the last 8 months, is similar to like having the Erie Canal's locks. I mean, you have an elevation problem, you have to pump the sewage.
You can refer to them as lift stations.
Lift stations, yes, because if everything was going downhill, we wouldn't need pump stations, right?
Right.
Probably. And if I remember correctly, Art, you said that the town of Webster has 400 miles of main and 22 pump stations. And that the village of Webster's sewer department or sewer plant has 20 miles of main, is what we've been told. John, Patty, I mean,
That sounds familiar.
and 3 pump stations? Okay. And there was some discussion last night, it wasn't really addressed, but, you know, it would be very difficult, if not impossible, to configure any type of regionalization of the collection system. Because Actually, I think that the village in that situation will get the raw end of the deal. Because they got 20 miles of main and the town has 400. And we have 22 pump stations and the village has 3. And just for a point of reference on what it can cost when one of these pump stations doesn't work anymore, you just heard a resolution where we just awarded almost $700,000 to contractors. And I really want to thank the board. Many of you who are on this board have been here for years, and the previous supervisor and budgets, where you fiscally handled things at the town to the point where we have a sewer reserve where we can tap into that money. So I want to thank y'all, because that was the smart thing to do. And probably not always the easiest thing to do. And usually I find the smart thing to do isn't always the easiest thing to do. So I will jump off my soapbox. But for people last night who were like, what the heck is a collection system? That is what it is.
It's all the hardware that gets the water and sewage from your house to the plant,
Yeah?
plain and simple. And in Monroe County, as Monroe County Pure Waters has taken over each township's sewage treatment plant, the collection system stayed with those towns,
Correct.
okay? They took over their plants, but not their collection systems.
Barry, you can see why. It would be almost an impossible configuration economically and who's servicing and all that if it's not the municipality. I don't know how you do it. But anyway, Bill, I promise you I'm not going to have a soapbox on every one of these resolutions, all right? We'll move along. All right. Next up on the agenda, number 4 is... This is a resolution for the Webster Town Board to authorize the bonding of a receiver of taxes. Dolly,
Yes, I need to be bonded.
that would be you.
That is correct.
I think I feel pretty comfortable making that proposed resolution for the Webster Town Board to authorize the bonding of our receiver of taxes, the Honorable Ms. Dolly McGuire.
Second.
Supervisor Flaherty,
Aye.
Councilman Cahill,
Aye.
Councilwoman Cataldi,
Aye.
Councilman Abbott,
Aye.
Councilman Dean.
Aye.
Well, like I said, I was very comfortable making that one, knowing you, Dolly, but this one is, I guess, is this more of a housekeeping item that's just done?
Part of the tax.
Okay, so I'll make a resolution to appoint Patrick Schmidt as the school tax collector for 2020-2021 school year for the properties in the town of Webster located in the Wayne Central School District.
Second.
Supervisor Flaherty,
Aye?
Councilman Abbott,
Aye.
Councilwoman Cataldi,
Aye.
Councilman Cahill,
Aye.
Councilman Dean.
Aye.
All right, I might lean on you on this one, Paul, because Josh Artuzo, our acting Department of Public Works Commissioner, said, do you need me to come in for this one tonight? And actually, Josh is off tomorrow. And I said, why don't you start your 3-day weekend a little early? I think we can all agree in the last couple of months that guy earned
Well-deserved.
a day off.
Yes.
And I said, no, we can handle this one without you. So actually, Paul, would you describe?
Which?
Number 6.
Number 6. This is the, for the Webster Police Department?
Mhm.
Webster Fire Marshal? Yeah, the police department had an extra vehicle which they have given to the fire marshal. So it's simply a transfer of assets from one department to the other.
Pretty straightforward?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would move that we declare the following as a transfer asset from the Webster Police Department to the Webster Fire Marshal, a 2013 Ford Taurus, asset number 5869.
Se-
Councilman Dean,
Aye.
Councilman Abbott,
Aye.
Councilman Cahill,
Aye.
Councilwoman Cataldi,
Aye.
Supervisor Flaherty.
Aye. Okay. Now, the next one has gotten on to this agenda somewhat late. So I'll appreciate if there needs to have some board discussion or questions that they may have. Brayton Connard was the head of Human Resources Director of Personnel for Monroe County for the last several years. And as can happen in administration changes, when the new administration came in January of 2020 to the county, Brayton, I feel as though was collateral damage to that. When the town started their search for a new director of personnel, our head of human resources, we actually got 9 applications and resumes. One of them was Brayton Connard. And it kind of made my eyes bulge because he has run an HR department for the last 10 plus years, over 4,700 employees, and a $1.2 billion budget at the county. He's applying for a job that is a $30 million budget and with part-time employees, about 240 employees. When I sat down with Brayton, it was an interesting interview because it's kind of tough to interview a guy who is an HR professional. They're the ones that usually are doing the interviewing. So I felt as it really was more of a meeting. And Paul, you attended it.
I did.
I think we used the term, let's just get the 800-pound gorilla on the table on some things. And I was very impressed.
Absolutely.
I thought his energy, his enthusiasm, it's exactly what I think would help us take what is a fledgling HR department at the town. And we've talked about it many times, is that the town really had a decentralized human resources personnel department. And as Barry Dean can attest, when you were heading up the highway department, a lot of HR fell on you for the highway department.
Every department was their own HR.
Yeah.
And we did have a little bit of guidance, if necessary, from a legal standpoint, we would get from someone who did that,
Right.
a
And
labor attorney.
I think didn't you retired in 2008?
Yes.
As the superintendent of highways?
Yes.
Joe Herbst, I think you have been the superintendent from 2008 to 2020. I would say in the last 12 years, the complexity of human resources has gone up exponentially. And it's really not a smart thing. It's not a fair thing to put on these department heads at the town of Webster doing their own HR. So, with all that being said, an offer was made to Mr. Connard. He has accepted the offer. He gave notice today to his current employer, and he is scheduled to start at the town of Webster on Monday, September 21st, pending board approval of his appointment as the Director of Personnel. So I will jump off the stage and open up to any questions or comments the board may have.
It says here, start date is September 8th.
It's been
There's
marked out.
It's marked out, it's
There's a
marked
lot
out.
of, and I've already talked to Carol Capitello.
I
We're
can't
going
read
to
it.
give him a cleaned up version of
Okay.
what the final, that is a red-lined, marked up, something, Charlie, you're probably used to looking at a lot.
Okay, yep, I got it.
I see it down there, yeah.
And Mr. Connor has initialed all of those changes.
Couldn't read
15
that.
seconds.
I didn't
Yes.
read that. Hard time reading that. I'm good.
So, like I said, I appreciate this is kind of flying in the last couple of days. So any questions, comments from the board?
Where's he live?
I think he lives in Pittsford. Yeah,
The
Paul
address
knows.
is up at the top. His address is up at the top.
Mhm.
It's a hard copy to read there. It's blue.
Lexington
and
Court, Pittsburgh.
Yep, I got it.
It's pretty.
Yeah.
know, you apprised us of this interview and your comments, so we were prepared for this.
One other thing I would add, the other 8 candidates, some of them scored very high on the civil service test. Some of them had no civil service background and weren't on the canvas list, so they were immediately discounted or eliminated. Not one of them had municipal experience. And if there's one thing I've learned in my first 8 months on this job, this is a very specific type of HR. You know what I'm saying, Charlie? I mean, if you practice personal
Civil
injury
service,
law, I don't want the personal injury lawyer coming in and being our town attorney. That's significantly different. And so there was just, I gotta tell you, there were so many things about Mr. Connor that were exciting to me, and I'd say that the 800-pound gorilla was the biggest. Paul always said, you're overqualified.
Yeah.
You know? And you're used to having a staff of 35. You're not gonna have that here.
He may be happy to jump out of the fray.
He seemed genuinely excited for the chance to take a raw piece of clay and have an ability to move the needle quickly, where at his past place, because of how much larger it was, there was more bureaucracy of getting things done. He understands the budget constraints from a standpoint of we have to fit it into the current budget, and we're working on the 2021 budget. And he might be a one-person show, because it's got to fit into the budget. Should I
you
take
wanna
by
make
the
the motion?
silence that I should make a motion? I don't
Go
wanna-
for it. Go
I
for
don't
it.
want to serve a wine before it's time, especially before there's questions or comments, all right? Well, I am very happy to make a motion, a resolution for the Webster Town Board to appoint Brayton Connard as the Director of Personnel for the Town of Webster as of Monday, September 21st, 2020.
Second.
Supervisor Flaherty?
Aye.
Councilwoman Cataldi?
Aye.
Councilman Cahill?
Aye.
Councilman Abbott?
This is not a required civil service position, correct?
No. Oh, no, in fact,
He has a special
he
exemption.
has an exemption, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I
So he's
should
the head of
answer
civil
that.
service for Monroe County.
Yes.
My point is, it doesn't require a civil service test.
Yeah, he gave us a letter to document that.
He has a
I'm fine.
dispensation. In
That's fine.
fact, I'm sorry because that letter, we have that letter from civil service when he made his application.
Aye.
Councilman Dean?
Aye.
Okay. 2 weeks ago, we unfortunately had to table 2 items that pertain to the approximate 9 acres Ben Picture Parkway that the town is seeking to buy from Monroe County. From Charlie, would we call it in rem or?
Correct, it was an in rem foreclosure. The county foreclosed for failure to pay taxes.
Now, and I'm going to look to you on this one, Charlie. I did put in the packet, and because this was my career for 30 years, I put in the packet for everybody the certificate of title insurance commitment from Frontier. I can read these things asleep because they're boilerplate template. I used to have to read them all the time. The bottom line is that any concerns we had of liens, judgments that might have not got expunged, or what would you call it, Charlie, discharged, or through the county tax foreclosure, we do not have that concern anymore. Frontier Abstract is issuing us a title insurance policy, and the only thing that is missing here is, and this is very common, is the purchase price, which is really the final, what we pay for it, and then because, Charlie, title insurance rates are regulated, we're not
They're
gonna
by
get,
statute, yeah.
right, we're not gonna get sticker shocked on this.
No. I don't know what it is, but it's going to be, it is statutory. It's
Yeah.
right, the insurance law.
Well, and it might be down the line that the board, I don't know, we might decide to buy, well, I think we can only get an owner's policy on this. I don't think you can, I don't know, I don't think you can get a policy for more than what you buy it for. But I don't know, on a commercial or a vacant piece of land. But that's something that we could maybe come back to, because I wouldn't see any value to buying a policy for any more than the $58,000 purchase price, but anyway. Point is, I don't know, are we at a point, based on what we have now received from the county, what we have received from Frontier Abstract as far as we did some yeoman work on making
Well,
sure.
I'm pleased that they've given it to us, and I didn't mention it, although I think I sent an email to the board. Because we had talked, I think 2 weeks ago, about the fact that the supervisor was able to contact somebody he knew in the business. The fact is, I had reached out to 3 different agencies, or 3 different title companies that I had worked with for decades, and 2 of them pretty much said, no, we won't insure it at all. The other one said they would do it conditionally after a number of years, and I didn't understand that, but I didn't like it, so that was the end of it. Supervisor Flaherty was able to get, well, he contacted Frontier Abstract, he knows the president, I believe.
Yeah, the owner.
And when we've gone back and forth, I've talked to the gentleman, and they are going to insure it, so that's great. That means that we can move forward. I don't know the exact amount, however, because I don't know the total amount of the insurance, I don't know the filing fees, I don't know how much more they're going to add. The purchase price is approximately $58,000.
Right. And I mean, as this has been something the board has discussed, along the lines of what Charlie just said, just following proper procedure, if you want to call it that, it's certainly, Charlie and I had talked that, let the town attorney reach out to 3 title companies to see what they say. It didn't surprise me at all. Someone's going to look at this thing and throw up all over it. And that's what they did. They didn't want to.
Well, one immediately said no, the other one said okay, and then they got back to me a couple weeks later and said, uh-oh, we didn't realize there were these tax liens, and we really can't insure this, and this isn't something we can do.
And it really comes down to this. The previous owner, who from what I've heard the town had negotiations with buying this land previously, when that person lost the property to the county in tax foreclosure, the amount of liens that were on that property from the previous owner were considerable. And any title company is going to just look at that and say, there's a very good chance that one or more of those either A, are not discharged, expunged, whatever, in a in-rem real estate tax foreclosure, or worse, weren't properly notified. So after Charlie had done his review of 3 companies, and I said, I know the owner of Frontier Abstract, very reputable firm. They do insurance policies through Chicago Title, which is one of the big, right? They said, look, we'll do a title search, but it's going to cost $750. And we knew that was $750 we put out there. What is that? Professional services or whatever. It didn't. And if it ended up that we couldn't insure this thing, we weren't going to be buying this property, and that would have been flushing $750 down the toilet. It was a very good $750.
Well, it would have been $750 well spent either way.
Yes, it really was. I mean, because the problem is the town buys that property for $58,000, and we're all excited. Joe Herbst is back there waiting to see what we're going to do next about what we're going to do with the land, because it's next to the highway garage. And just knowing my Irish luck, within a year we'd have some lien holder come out and say, you owe us $130,000. And Charlie, we'd be dead in the water with me.
Well, I won't respond to that.
Okay.
But no, it's something we've been looking at for a long time. This didn't just come out of nowhere. I know Joe was looking at it, Ron Nesbitt was looking at it, we've been looking at it. I was in contact with the attorney for the lien holder, one of the lien holders. So anyway, Yeah, bottom line is that I think it's working out well so far. Knock on wood and keep our fingers crossed.
Well, trust me, that title insurance commitment and all the backup that went into that and all the conversations and back and forth, Charlie, you had with the title searcher, the title, and the county. Because we had to go back to the county and say, can you show us that this one lien that we were worried about, did you make proper notification? And they did. Once they were able to show that, Frontier said, we can insure
The
that.
county's on board with selling this to us. Yeah.
So at the end of the day, if it's 58,000 and some change based on their referee bid or whatever it is, which months ago the board looked at that and told me that that was a very good price for 9 acres. I guess you could look at it this way, that when we do move forward at some point to it ended up being about $60,000 with title insurance and the abstract that we bought or the title insurance. So.
If you want to approve, well, I know you've got a couple motions on. One is to sign the contract, the other, that's for the purchase, which
Yes.
would guarantee it. And it hasn't been signed, so I will obviously go over it again with you before you sign it. And if there's anything we're going to change, we'll do it before you sign.
Right.
The other thing is the amount, and I guess I would sort of defer to Paul as to how we could word this, that we would word it, there would be up to a certain amount of money. If we needed to amend that, we could come back at a later time. So if we need to put a specific amount on tonight, then I would say put it on, put on up to 65,000 or something, which would include the insurance and the transfer tax and the filing fees.
That would be, 65 would be plenty of cushion.
It should be.
Plenty
Yeah.
of cushion.
That does not include paying off any other liens. I mean, this is,
We don't have to.
I'm hoping not, no.
You have little faith. That document to you.
It's good, it's nice to have, yes. I've
My 30 years in the mortgage business, I've
Some
never
of you
seen
are comfortable with this on, yeah.
I then would move to authorize the town supervisor to sign a contract allowing the town of Webster to purchase approximately 9 acres on Picture Parkway from Monroe County for the total of that contract and the completion of it not to exceed $65,000.
Second.
Councilwoman Cataldi?
Aye.
Councilman Abbott?
Aye.
Councilman Dean?
Aye.
Councilman Cahill?
Aye.
Supervisor Flaherty?
Aye. And then the next one, does this have to be done tonight? Because I was a little confused, Paul, and I might have misinterpreted an email you sent earlier. Is this coming from the fund balance, or is this going to be a budget item?
It's a budget amendment to move money from fund balance in general fund townwide to fund this particular line item, A5010-20120,
But for 2020?
the 2020 budget.
Okay,
Correct.
then I do
So,
understand that.
yeah, if we're going to buy it, we have to have the money reserved into a line item so we
Okay.
can spend it. So it'd be good if we could do it tonight.
So will that be for the same
We could
amount
say
as,
up to 65,000.
up to 65?
Doesn't have to be
Okay,
the exact amount.
okay.
Patty, you were so good at the first one.
I would move that the funding source for the town of Webster to purchase approximately 9 acres on Pitcher Parkway from Monroe County in the amount not to exceed $65,000 would be a transfer from the general fund,
General townwide fund balance.
general townwide fund balance to,
account A5010-20120.
what Paul said,
850 what?
A5010.20120.
thank you.
Second.
The name of the account is land purchase.
Thank you, that's what I was gonna ask.
That's good.
That is intuitively makes sense.
Yes.
Yes.
Councilwoman Cataldi?
Aye.
Councilman Dean?
Aye.
Councilman Abbott?
Aye.
Councilman Cahill?
Aye.
Supervisor Flaherty?
I think this is a good day.
Yes.
I really do. I will say this, we're done with our formal agenda. I don't know if Karen can get up on the screen, that if anybody watching at home wants to call into 872-7011, we'll keep that line open for 5 minutes as we just go around and get any comments or questions from the board members and Charlie and Dolly and Paul and Art, you too, and Joe, if you'd like to, do an Irish jig for the land next to your highway garage. Not yet. Okay.
Well, we haven't told them we're gonna use it for highway.
We did not. You notice how I keep saying, Bill, the land next to your highway garage. We're gonna build a water park there.
I'm waiting for it to become a park district.
That's great.
No, not touching that.
Is that what you meant? That's right. Well, we don't.
He's got a water slide.
He's got a cool big swimming pool.
Sure you don't want a dog park there?
No, for goodness gracious.
Oh,
That's not a bad idea. Huh. A water park at the sewer plant. Well, that's an entrepreneurial thought. Gives new meaning to lazy river, huh? Geez, you would think with all the fun that we're having that people would want to call in, but,
You would think.
Did you tell them what the number is?
I did, and I think, like I said, I
Okay.
don't know if
I could go out in the
it
hall,
shows up.
call in.
It shows up on the screen, yeah. You could go out in the hall and call, Jen? No, I wouldn't accept your call. You'd call collect, I know how you are. Well, it's 8:12, I'll give it 2 more minutes, and then, I think, Bill, how's your water?
Gone.
Gone? Come on, you gotta give me some credit for this not being that long. None?
I just paced my water by your dissertation.
Dissertation.
Actually,
I think I can count on with Bill as I get the straight skin. He doesn't sugarcoat.
you were almost, you could have made 8 o'clock tonight. You got a couple topics and
And what?
we lost it.
By the way, we got 1 minute left. Rumor has it that if I go back and watch some videos of you as the mayor, that you make me look like a deaf mute.
No,
No?
no.
Okay.
We'll have the evidence to prove that soon enough.
I'm gonna go watch some of those videos. Dolly, but a minute ago, do you want to make any plea
Plug for the.
about the taxes coming up?
Yeah, sure. I know I mentioned it last meeting, but I want to continue to encourage the Webster school taxpayers to pay by mail, drop their payment in the town's drop box located in the front vestibule of the town hall, which is open 24/7. Pay online through Monroe County's website. Adam Bello has announced recently that the county is going to waive the 3% credit card fee for the 2020 school tax payments. And you can also make full payments by check only at the Webster M&T Bank at 935 Hard Road during the interest-free period.
So if we pay by credit card, that's done online?
It's done
They
online.
don't have to come into the town hall?
That's correct, it's done all
Okay.
online.
Can they come into the town hall?
They can, but we're trying to discourage it.
Sure.
Because there's only 4 people allowed in the.
But it's a lot easier just to go online.
No, I move that too low. I thought you were gonna stir the pot on us, Charlie,
No,
Thank you.
I want to make it clear that people
Right.
can do that. They can go online and pay as opposed to coming in.
Yes.
And there's no fee.
That's correct.
That's what's been holding up people,
Right,
3%.
and I'm gonna say it, not as nice as Dolly, we really are imploring you, don't come into town hall to pay your taxes.
Well, and I would
No.
think that at some point, if enough people show up at town hall to pay their taxes, we're going to have to ask them to wait outside and not let
Yes.
everyone in.
That's
And we
true.
don't want to do that to anyone.
We do not.
No.
But it is, and I think society knows this, COVID is causing challenges of how many people can be lined up in a place. There's so many ways to pay those taxes besides coming in. Please take advantage of those. Nobody called in, I would say, unless
I
anybody.
have one question.
Oh, boy.
It's a quick one, it's not even for you, Supervisor Larry. What's the status on issuing hunting licenses
I have not been named the agent yet, and when I attended a town clerk's meeting last week, I was told that there was a town clerk there that submitted her application in January and still hasn't been named agent. And until I'm named agent, we can't sell any licenses.
And I'm sure that's all due to reduced staffing at the state level and COVID and everything else.
That's exactly what they told me.
And I don't suppose that the fact that Barb being part-time, she's no longer eligible or
That is correct.
But as you stated 2 weeks ago, there are many other places where one can,
Oh, I know, I'm just
Get a
asking
hunting
for an
license.
update, that's all.
vegan.
but not here.
Yeah. You saw the picture.
Charlie, anything to say?
No.
Oh, I bet you we're all very happy about it.
Barry wants you to hit the gavel.
Is it ready?
Yes.
Okay. Good night, everybody.
Good night.